attention to the details. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of the Showerpodcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and today's topic is, as usual, inspired by my day-to-day life. The other night, when I was going out to the city to have dinner, I put, as usual, the headphones and I started listening to music. But something happened. Throughout the whole day, I had a certain song in mind, and I've listened to it using various devices. I used my phone, I used my soundbar, I used Alexa's Dot, like it's a Bluetooth speaker, let's say, and also my speakers from the computer. And overall, I would say that of course, the song was there, and I was able to get most out of it. But then when I had my headphones on with noise cancelling and I started actually listening to it, and this happens to me, let's say, periodically, after listening for a while to a song, I picked up so many different things, notes, like details in the bass, in the soundtrack. Of course, the lyrics were there, but all the other small details, I was completely unaware of them until I use my headphones to listen to it. And also you listening to this might have the same, let's say, situation. It's been now, I think, 4-5 episodes that I've added a very subtle background noise. Very chill, very, let's say, lo-fi. Since I listened back to some of the episodes and also through the feedback of some friends, and they told me that sometimes when I wasn't talking, like now, there was nothing there, and having this small, let's say, background is pleasant. So I hope you do. But maybe most of you didn't even notice, because if you listen to it through headphones or just your phone speaker, it's let's say so much lower compared to the rest that you might even lose it. So this small situation got me thinking a bit. How many times, in the past and also looking forward, will I be in a certain situation? I will, of course, be able to understand and pick up 80% of the stuff that's happening around me. But there will be a 20% or even less or even more, depending on the situation, that will be completely dependent on my capacity and will depend on the tools that I have in that moment to pick up these details. And I always think that, it goes back also to memories, but to the episode that we had, where you remember that 80%, it is it's almost impossible to remember the small details, because those things are, first of all, as I said, dependent on the possibility that you have. And also, it's stuff that in a certain moment you might be able to pick up, and in certain moments you might ignore completely. And really, it can go in any direction. Maybe my let's say my shower gels. Some of you notice that I basically try to change them every episode or to rearrange them, also because I use them to shower. They are my regular ones. But in general, try to look back, or also today, looking forward or looking back to the day or whenever you're listening to this. How many times and how many things around you haven't noticed? How many conversations, when you speak to somebody, are you actually looking at their body language? Are you trying to understand if they're nervous, if they're not, if they're feeling comfortable, if they're happy? There are so many things that we just lose throughout the day. And I think that it's really, really worth it to, first of all, pay more attention in general. I think that's something that it's a bit of an issue nowadays, but again, we can't do much about it. We are, let's say, used to just skip through stuff and, let's say, get the most out of it and go to the next. And we tend to lose these smaller details. And it's something that I also see a lot in my creative process. For example, I love photography. If I could, I would be doing that as my main job. But whenever you take a picture, besides, let's say the action of taking it, so framing it, doing it the way that you intend to, then there are also so many things that you do in post-processing. So when you go into the editing room and you actually try to salvage this, salvage that, fix this, fix that. And those are all things and details that you see, but most of the people that we see your image will not care whatsoever. And this also gets to our minds. We are so, let's say, there is, I think I will use it and will be part of another episode, but being so obsessed with being perfect and solving all the small details, sometimes it's not needed. It could have been the same for this podcast if I am 1 degree off or 1 degree on when I set up the camera, since it would be funny. Maybe down the line I will show you the background of this. It's quite funny on what it's sitting, my camera, or the way that I put my logos here, or the transition, if it's 1 second off or 1 second late. These are all things that I should be paying attention, and I should really decide, do I care about those things? Are those things that, let's say, have a meaning for me? Because sometimes I should be okay, and I should understand that it is enough to do the bare minimum to have and deliver the most important thing. So make sure that the audio is clear, make sure that you see me, and try to deliver the message clearly. But besides that, all these other small things, I should learn. And I think in general, this is let's say a message for all of you. Try not to focus too much on these details and when you are trying to build something, but at the same time, make sure to pay attention to what's around you, because other people might have put the effort to show you those details. And if you're able to pick them up, you'll be able to increase exponentially, let's say, the enjoyment you have out of the thing that you are seeing, experiencing, or whatever. I'd be curious to know if this also happened to you, and how often you end up in these situations where you look back to something or you re-experience something, because this is also very important, and you're like, I didn't remember it like this, or was this always here? Because again, your mind then hooks upon the way that it's used to perceive that thing, and it just goes with it. Whereas if you give it a fresh start, be it in a different environment, using a different device, or just again being in a different mood, then you'll be able to understand and pick up that thing in a way, way better and different, let's say with a different feeling. And that might completely change the way that you experience it. This was episode 21 of the Shower Podcast. Please feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and let's say if you made it so far, I think it's worth it. It's just a click. And see you at the next one. Thank you very much.